Good to be with you.
It's good to see you. What are your thoughts on how all of this happened and why we're only learning now that Obama officials, some of whom have been out in public for years, claiming that there was collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign, in private, under oath, said something different?
Yeah, it's really a remarkable discovery. We've been talking about this for a long time. Devin Nunes, as you can recall, years ago, was starting to beat this drum that there were dirty cops within the FBI. That they were conspiring against the Donald Trump campaign before he was elected president, as you heard President Trump talking about there. And then they tried to entrap and literally set up General Flynn and forced him to plead guilty to something he didn't do, and in essence trying to bankrupt the guy. They're not only owe him an apology, there needs to be accountability at the highest levels of the FBI and the people within the FBI at the time who knew this was going on and who, in essence, set it up. And this, look, we know some of the names already. You know, and Strzok is at the heart of this too. But does this go up to Comey? Does this go up to President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden at the time? Were they aware that there was no collusion and that still their Justice Department was going after targeting Donald Trump as he was elected, not even sworn in, and some of his top officials, including General Flynn. So,
Congressman, let's stay on that point then. You just named all these folks, Peter Strzok, James Comey. Did it go all the way up to President Obama? Well, there's now basically testimony that's come out in some of these documents from the Flynn case that suggests that Sally Yates at the Justice Department revealed that it was President Obama who informed her that he knew all about Flynn's calls with the Russian ambassador, and she seemed surprised by that. So did it go all the way up to President Obama?
Well, it looks pretty clear that it did. And you know, where's the reaction, by the way, from President Obama? Where the press questions towards Barack Obama and Joe Biden about what they knew and when they knew it and why they didn't stop the FBI from going after an innocent man. I'm glad that the Justice Department finally fixed the problem that they created. They literally tried to destroy a man's life because they wanted to get him fired. They wrote that in the notes, even if there was no evidence and there was nothing that he did wrong. Here's a guy who's trying to help get the new duly elected president established with foreign leaders to get a new foreign policy implemented, which is what the American people chose Donald Trump to do. And they're trying to undermine those efforts from within the FBI. Those people need to go to jail. That shouldn't happen. That's something that happens in third world nations. It shouldn't be tolerated in the United States of America.
On that point, you just said some people should go to jail, and yet, people out there watch all of this play out. They've seen it for years now, and they say nobody actually has been held accountable. One of those people is James Comey. The president had some thoughts on Fox and Friends. I'll play it and let you respond.
And a guy like Comey, who's a sick man. I mean, Comey's a sick man. He played it so cute with Hillary. He was trying to play it cute. He was trying to help her. And ultimately, he might have hurt her. There's something wrong with him. But it's all coming out, and I love to watch it step by step, day by day, thousands and thousands of pages.
James Comey, in his defense, put out a tweet last night saying, look, the Justice Department has lost its way and that basically he's innocent. You see it right there. Career people, he said, please stay because America needs you. The country is hungry for honest, competent leadership. Your response?
Well, I'll tell you, the honest, competent people at great agencies like the FBI want the house clean more than anybody. Those bad apples that are still around and some that have already left in disgrace need to be held accountable to restore the integrity for all of the by and large, the large majority of the people over there that are working hard for the American people. There were bad people over there. We know it. The bad cops have started to get exposed, but we're just getting close to cutting off the head of the snake. And the Justice Department is doing a thorough investigation. I'd like to see it go ahead and start seeing charges brought. We've read enough. I've seen classified information, but we've seen enough just in public documents that show you that people abused their power, violated their positions at agencies like the FBI and others, and they need to be held accountable to send a message, number one, that what they did wrong isn't going to be tolerated, but also to anybody else who's thinking about doing that. We all have our political views, but when you're working for law enforcement, you have to check those views at the door. They didn't do that. The people that hated Donald Trump, they tried to undermine his candidacy for president, and then they tried to take him down afterwards with the impeachment hoax. It still went on, and there might still be some of them over there.
Right.
They need to be rooted out. You root out the bad cops, and then everybody else will have a much higher level of confidence in that important agency.
We'll see what John Durham, the prosecutor, does with that. Lindsey Graham over on the Senate side says he's going to be holding hearings late summer, early fall on all of this. In the meantime, you have another big piece of business, obviously, dealing with the fallout from COVID-19, these horrible jobless numbers, many Americans out of work. 1 in 5 Americans basically out of work right now because of the coronavirus. Nancy Pelosi, one of your counterparts on the Democratic side, talking about a new package of stimulus, $750 billion. But Larry Kudlow from the White House was on a short time ago, and he told us that basically he wants to put a pause, he and the president, and they think you've got to see how all this plays out in terms of the money you've already spent, get some states and cities reopened, and that might be the best stimulus for the economy. Are you going to hit the pause button, or is there going to be another stimulus bill?
Well, there are already trillions of dollars that have been sent out, over $3 trillion just in the relief packages from CARES and the bills prior to that. And so what you need to see now is a real reopening of the economy in a safe way, and do it on a consistent basis. I know some states are starting to reopen safely, and they're having good success. Some states are holding back. I think what you're hearing, and I've talked to so many business owners from the smallest local restaurants to the largest businesses that say, we need to start getting people back out again in a safe way, because people want to start getting back out safely. And that's the only way you're going to get this economy open. But there are some real negative health consequences to keeping things shut down. And you're already starting to see it. Mental illness is on the rise. Suicides are on the rise. People that aren't getting their normal checkups where you can detect things like early cancer. That's not happening, and it needs to happen wide scale. And people, by the way, the depression and loss of hope that goes with losing your job and your career and your business, that has a negative consequence too. So we know businesses are already showing how to safely reopen. We're Americans. We know how to do this. But let's start getting it done wide scale before they talk about things like bailing out states that were already failed prior to COVID-19, or radical ideas like the Green New Deal. Let's focus on helping families and businesses safely get back to work.
All right, Congressman Steve Scalise, thanks for coming on.